A very good morning to all of you. Respected Principal of Haldia Institute of Technology, Professor T.K.Jana sir, the Program Chair and Head of Department of Applied Science and Humanities, Haldia Institute of Technology, Dr. Shantanu Giri, my co-organizing chair, Dr. Meenakshi De, participants of this faculty development program, my dear esteemed colleagues from HIT and from SAS department and also from other departments in the college who are also actively participating in this faculty development program. I'm Dr. Jyoti Dole, co-organizing chair of this FDP. With great pleasure, welcome you all to this faculty development program entitled Thriving Together, Communication, Mental Health, and Collaborative Excellence in Higher Education. Ladies and gentlemen, this faculty's development program stands in a single premise that I believe captures the very spirit of this program. That is, higher education thrives best when faculty communicate effectively, nurture their own and students' well-being, and collaborate across roles and disciplines. This sentence is deceptively simple, but each of its components carries significant weight. Effective communication is an academic setting. In an academic setting is not confined to the delivery of a well-structured lecture. It extends into every interaction we have with students seeking guidance, with colleagues negotiating shared responsibilities, with administrators navigating institutional policy, and with ourselves in the way we articulate our needs and limitations. When communication breaks down, misunderstandings accumulate, trust erodes, and even well intentioned initiatives fail to take root. Conversely, when communication is clear, respectful, and two-way, it becomes the connective tissue that allows an institution to function as a coherent whole rather than a collection of isolated departments and individuals. And effective communication is a result of stress-free mind. And here I wish to emphasize a point that is often overlooked. The well-being of a faculty and the well-being of students are not very separate concerns. They are deeply intertwined. A faculty member who is mentally exhausted, chronically stressed, and emotionally depleted cannot sustain the empathy, patience, and creativity that effective teaching demands. Similarly, students are remarkably perceptive. They sense when an educator is present and engage versus merely going through the motions. Therefore, nurturing our own well being is not a self indulgent detour from our professional duties, it is a prerequisite for fulfilling them. This FDP recognizes that resilience is a skill that can be cultivated, not simply a trait one either possesses or lacks. Academic institutions are often structured in ways that are inadvertently silo knowledge and expertise by department, by seniority, by administrative versus teaching functions. Yet, some of the most meaningful advances in both research and pedagogy emerge precisely at the intersection between disciplines and between roles. A conversation between a senior professor and a junior faculty member, between a teaching focused academic and a research focused one, between faculty and support staff. These exchanges, when genuinely collaborative, generate insights that no individual working in isolation could ever produce. Taken together, these three elements, that is communication, well being, and collaboration do not operate independently. They reinforce one another in a continuous cycle. Effective communication reduces the stressors that erode well being. A faculty member who feels psychologically secure communicates more openly and collaborates more willingly. And meaningful collaboration, in turn, distributes workload and responsibility in ways that protect individual well being. This is precisely why the program is titled Thriving Together, because none of these elements can sustain in isolation. They must be cultivated in tandem and collectively. This FDP has therefore been designed with a clear and practical orientation. Over the coming sessions, you will not simply be presented with theoretical frameworks, but with actionable strategies, techniques for strengthening academic relationships, tools for building personal and collective resilience, and structured approaches for fostering a genuine culture of shared excellence within our institution. I would encourage each of you to engage actively, to reflect honestly, and to consider how these strategies might be adapted to your own departments, your own classrooms, and your own professional relationships. Ultimately, the excellence of any academic institution is not measured solely by individual achievement, but by the quality of the relationships and the collaborative spirit that its faculty collectively embody. It is this spirit that I once again welcome you to this program, and I look forward to the rich exchange of ideas that lies ahead. Thank you so much. And before we move ahead, I would request our respected head of department and the program chair of this FDP, Dr. Shantanu Giri sir, to address the gathering today. Over to you, Shantanu sir.
Good morning to all respected dignitaries, our principal sir, research persons, and faculty members. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this one-week national level online faculty development program on thriving together, communication, mental wellness, and collaborative excellence in higher education. We all know that higher education today is shaped by rapid technological change, rising academic demands, diverse learner expectation, and evolving workplace realities. The professional competence alone is no longer enough. Faculty members must also communicate clearly, as rightly mentioned by Dr. Jyoti Madam, protect their mental well-being, and collaborate across disciplines. Effective communication builds trust, encourages participation, and creates inclusive learning environments. Collaboration allows us to share ideas, solve a problem together, and learn from one another. The theme Thriving Together reminds us the excellence cannot be achieved alone. This FDP program gives us an opportunity to reflect, discuss, learn, and exchange experiences. I encourage every participant to engage actively, share openly, and explore how the ideas discussed here can be translated into everyday academic and institutional practices. I sincerely thank our distinguished speaker, organizing team, institutional leadership, and all the participants for making this program possible. Let us begin this journey with openness, curiosity, and commitment to grow not only as educators and professionals, but also as individuals and collaborative communities. I wish the program great success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, to continue in continuation with the program, I request Dr. Meenakshi De, the co-organizing chair and the host of the thematic session, to take over. Over to you, madam.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jyoti Dole, for this wonderful introduction to the theme of the 1 week national level faculty development program. Good morning to every participant over here. I am Dr. Meenakshi De, and it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this 1 week faculty development program on thriving together, communication, mental wellness, and collaborative excellence in higher education. As we begin this enriching week of learning, reflection, and exchange of ideas, it is now my privilege to introduce our first resource person, Professor Dr. T.K.Jana, Principal of Haldia Institute of Technology, Haldia, West Bengal. Professor Jana received his Bachelor of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering from the erstwhile Bengal Engineering College, presently known as IIEST Shibpur, in 1988. He completed his Master of Production Engineering from Jadavpur University in 1990 and obtained his PhD in Engineering from the Department of Production Engineering, Jadavpur University, in 2015. He is a fellow of the Institution of Engineers and has an extensive professional career comprising of 12 years of industrial experience and 24 years of academic experience. Professor Jana has published several research papers in international journals and conference proceedings. He is the co-author of the books Engineering Mechanics and Engineering Thermodynamics and Fluid Mechanics, published by McGraw-Hill Education. He is also the author of the book Dynamic Scheduling by Agent-Based Polonic Manufacturing System, Concepts, Framework and Execution, published by Lambert Academic Publishing, Germany. Professor Jana also serves as a reviewer for the journal IEEE, Transactions on Systems, Man and Cybernetics. His area of interest include intelligent manufacturing, agent-based systems, Industry 4.0 and Industry 5.0, smart manufacturing, cyber physical production systems, digital twins, and machine tool 4.0. Professor Jana will be speaking on the topic Human-Machine Collaboration in Education, a Roadmap to Success. As technology becomes an integral part of teaching and learning, the future of education will depend on how effectively educators and intelligent systems work together. Human-machine collaboration is not about teachers. Rather, it is about using technology to strengthen human creativity, judgment, personal connection, and the overall learning experience. With great pleasure, I invite Professor Dr. T.K.Jana to deliver his lecture and share his valuable insights with us. Sir, we warmly invite you to begin your session. Over to you, sir.
Okay, so good morning once again. At the outset, I would like to convey my sincere regards and gratitude to the organizer, namely the Department of SAS, that is the School of Applied Science and Humanities of Haldia Institute of Technology, and they have considered IQAC as their partner in holding this particular faculty development program. The theme that has been considered for the deliberation is very generic in nature. It is applicable across discipline, across sectors, and for all stakeholders. So unless and until the people with whom we are dealing with are not mentally fit or mentally alert and engrossed in some unwanted or disrupted activities, it is very difficult to get the desired output and do justice to our activities. So the communication and mental wellness should be given due importance, in every sphere of activities, particularly in the professional domain, whether it is education or industry or health sector, whatever it may be. And in the present days, as the program chair Dr. Santanav Giri was talking about the inclusive approaches to education of the activities. So we have to go for the collaborative approach in our every practices. And since this faculty development program is basically catered to faculty members engaged in the education sectors, so as far as the teaching, learning and research is considered, so we have to emphasize on the collaborative approach to the problem solving and the decision making. Although I am not the expert of this particular areas, but as a faculty, I am also having the same responsibility to take the classes, take part in some sorts of research activities, where collaboration, communication is extremely important. And particularly in the, as far as my current interest is concerned, I develop certain interests in the areas of cognitive manufacturing. That is the not exactly human cognitive process, but how the same cognitive attributes or the functionalities can be installed or can be designed and developed in a non-living system, so that man and machine can collaborate judiciously and efficiently in the workplace. So give me 1 or 2 minutes so that I can share my PPTs. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it
Is
is.
the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the title of my deliberation is Human Machine Collaboration in Education, a Roadmap to Success. But before I dive into this how we can divide the work between the machine and the human, I would like to shed some light on the mental wellness, mental health, emotional intelligence, which are very crucial for our getting desired output and to have a clear mindset to undertake different activities and to foster any type of activities. So this, because I have chosen this human machine collaboration, this is a very broad. Okay. Thank you. So 2, 3, 4 slides I will focus on the mental health importance. What are the challenges we encountered in the profession? What are the emotional intelligence? Then I will move to the human machine collaboration. What I was talking about, this human machine collaboration is the part of industry 5.0, that is the 5th industrial revolution, which emphasizes on the economic growth of the organization, and at the same time, while doing so, it must consider human as its center or the core, so that human-centric activities should be given due importance, and it must foster the social well-being and also ensure our environmental protection. So it is basically a holistic development, and it is essentially an extension of the industry 4.0, which is all about the automation and digitalization of the plant and machinery, where only focus is economical benefit. And while doing so, it jeopardizes the social good, that is the sustainability, resilience. These are ignored, or these are not given any explicit importance. So those deficiencies are basically taken care of in the next industrial reform, that is industry 5.0. So keeping that theme in mind, how judiciously we can categorize the work between the human and machine so that we can have a better output or the economical growth, profit making, and at the same time we can channelize our endeavor towards the overall upliftment of the society. So first slide is the mental health. What defines actually mental health? Quite often, particularly for the students, their guardians quite often are not aware of the mental health. There can be something about the mental health, people are not at all aware of it. But in the current days, in the 21st century, due to tremendous development or the changes in the turmoil in the socio-economic sector, technology development and the technological development which are coming in a big way, those are mostly disruptive in nature. I will talk about the what is disruptive technology and what are the sustainable technology afterwards. So anyway, these technologies are disruptive in nature. It pose major challenges and threats to our employment. So somehow people, and due to the mushrooming growth of these your social sites or the social medias, it is very difficult to maintain the cool, and people are usually unable, particularly the young generation, are unable to contemplate or focus attention toward their studies or any other activities. So mental health is extremely crucial to have a desired output. So what exactly defines mental health? It is a comprehensive representation of someone's overall psychological, emotional, and social well-being. So it is a multidimensional. In the second point, you will find that it captures several attributes such as how people think, how people feel, behave, deal with the challenges, make decisions, and build relationships. So in the make decisions part of this particular attribute, I have shown it in the blue font color because it has got a different significance. So apart from that, if we come to the behavioral science, thinking, feelings, behaving with the other people in the surroundings, how to deal with the challenges. That means how to maintain someone cools, how effectively we can confront the disruptive events and stay resilient, and how we can develop relationship across different sectors, across different class of people. So that is also extremely important. So this part should be given due importance, and if not, then these can pose serious impediments towards the development. If I come to the make decisions, if you think whatever activities that we undertake, whatever work we do, it is fundamentally we make decisions. Given certain scenarios, certain constants, the boundaries, we have to formulate, chalk out our plan of action. So, and those chalk out the plans, what we will execute, what we will deliver, that is essentially make decisions. So apparently it seems very simple, but it is basically a 6 cognitive functions which are responsible for making decisions. So I'll come to later part on this cognitive decision making, but this decision making and this emotional part of the mental health are intertwined together. Cognitive process leads to the decision making, but unless and until someone is mentally alert, is someone's mental health is not in a good condition, it is very difficult to concentrate or to utilize successfully or efficiently the cognitive functions, so they are leading towards the good quality decision making. Staying in tune with the emotions helps manage stress and improve mental health to get rid of crisis and maintain cool. This emotion is extremely important. How we can, whenever we are confronted with some stress or some disruptive events or some unwanted development we come across, quite often we lost our cool. We become ill-directed. We suffer from anxieties. How to deal with that particular situation? So in that case, emotions play a very crucial role. But we have to control our emotion through self motivation, self regulation. I'll come later on. So those are crucial. Unless and until we can control those things, because whatever may be the development, it is always accompanied by some sorts of subsequent actions. So the action, good action taking or the efficient action taking would be jeopardized if our emotions are not appropriately controlled. জাস্ট এ মিনিট, হ্যাঁ আমি একটা সেমিনারে আছি, ঘন্টা দেড়েক পরে ফোন করবো বা তুমি হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ করে দিও। So staying in tune with the emotions helps manage stress and improve mental health to get rid of the crisis and maintain goal. When someone feels, why it is required? So when someone feels better and rejuvenated, that is motivated, then output improves across different activities, whether it is personal, whether it is social, whether it is family based, whether it is your environmental, whether it is financial, and of course if it is your professional. So all activities across the sector, that is improved. Why it is important? Some tangible benefits that we can accrue, that is the increased productivity and improved performance. Now performance is a very generic word, so different attributes that constitute performance, and domain to domain, depending on the expectation of the your key parameters, key performance index, it varies. In our manufacturing, we typically call about the flexibility, the adaptiveness, the efficiency, the effectiveness, robustness, responsiveness. So these are some of the parameters of the attributes that together or comprehensively define the performance, and it can vary from one sector to other sector depending on the nature of activities. But anyway, this contribution is in the positive domain. It of if productivity improves, if people are motivated, definitely absenteeism will be reduced. If someone is not motivated towards work, you cannot expect that they will come to the office or their workplace wholeheartedly, so that may adversely affect the your present or the positive participation. Enhanced camaraderie and collaboration. This third point goes well with your seminar theme, that is the teamwork and the collaboration. In the current days, demand is so gigantic, it is not possible for any individual, and in fact there is no scope also to pursue any activities as an individual. So teamwork and the collaborative work is extremely crucial, and it is the nucleus towards the success. Majority of the work is now multidisciplinary in nature, and we come across different stakeholders working together, even in our teaching learning. As an individual, okay, given a 45 minutes or 1 hour single class, I am teacher, so I am the person who can regulate, but actually that is not the way to teach. I will come to the point later on. So it is basically a good collaboration between the teachers and the students. And coming to the department back, you will find your fellow colleagues, they are also following the same rules, same procedures, same nature of activities, or the same responsibilities. So in the current days, if we want to undertake good quality research, we have to go for the collaborative effort. Majority of the work is multidisciplinary in nature, and that is what exactly also enshrined in the NEP 2020, good collaboration among the multidisciplinary. So you cannot segregate that this is the part of mechanical, this is the part of IT, this is the part of the humanities or the psychology. All should coherently and comprehensively should work together, so that we can have a collective effort or outcome towards the problem solving. Improved decision making and resilience. This resilience is extremely crucial in the current days development, in the socio-economics turbulence. What is resilience? Resilience is basically a technical term, but that can be extended in our daily life of the human activities as well, or human mental state. Resilience in the view of any unbecoming or unpleasant disruptive force, how we will stay firm. Maybe if there is a deviation, that may be momentary. So once that disruptive force is eliminated or removed, then we can regain our original position. So this, I'll just give you one good example, you will feel. Perhaps all of you go to the television in different channel, news channel, any other music channel. During break, you'll find Sam Steel advertisement featuring Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma. Perhaps all of you are familiar with. You'll see during that particular 30 or 40 seconds video, the ad, you'll find that one coconut tree, one or two, is swinging heavily when there is a storm. So it swings back and forth, but when that gale force wind is removed or stopped, then it once again regains its original shape and size and structure. So it does not succumb to the pressure permanently. For the time being, it shakes, but it is rigid enough that it is not completely uprooted. So that is what exactly is the resilience. So under extreme pressure, we are supposed to buckle, but it is not permanent. We will regain the original shape, size, and position when that external force is removed. That is what is resilience. And all these positive activities leading to the better output or the growth of the organization. But in there, what additionally that is required, or it ensures that is the safety part, reduces fatigue, stress, and burnout. If we are not, our mental health is not fine, then it may lead to some catastrophic consequences in the workplace. It also enhances our fatigue, stress, and of course, physically burnout. So what are the challenges that we encountered in the profession? Exorbitant work pressure and shorter deadlines. This is extremely common, very popular and common in the current days. Exorbitant work pressure. What we are supposed to do earlier, now our expectation increases. It is now multi-level or types of or multi-dimensional or multi-pronged activity we are supposed to perform. Your normal teaching learning, and that teaching learning also undergoing revolutionary changes that I will come to later part. So that is one part: research, publication, holding events. So these consultancy work. So these sorts of number of activities keep on increasing, and in majority of the cases, the deadlines, that the time that you will get when you get the information or when you initiate the process and when you have to finish it or the complete it, that time limit is, that is called the deadline, is extremely low, which in our manufacturing term we call it as a lead time. When it first gather the information about the instruction and when you have to finish, this time span is known as the lead time. And this shorter lead time or the deadlines, very quick, within 1 or 2 hours sometimes, or within half an hour, you have to finish that particular work. So that enhances our work pressure, that destabilizes our mental state. How we maintain cool, how we can provide solution even despite the challenges and shorter time, that is extremely crucial. And we cannot deny we are part of the system, so we have to accept those things. What is essential? Multitasking. And quite often we lack in planning how to deal with the multitask. Okay, so multitasking is a current state of affair. Now, in the current context, we have to judiciously chalk out the plan how we can properly utilize our time so that we can undertake multitasking. Apprehension of failure leading to rise in perturbation. So whenever we get certain instruction or the information that these activities to be done within certain period of time, we have a apprehension in nature that I might not be able to fulfill or to do this exercise within this short period of time. So eventually that will lead to a failure, which will eventually cause perturbation. So perturbation is a mental state. It is negative, it is undesirable, that enhances our stresses, that adversely affect our mental health. So perturbation should be as low as possible. I will come later on about the perturbation. It adversely affect our positive outcome and also adversely affect our cognitive functions. It is neurophysiological in nature. excessive exposure to digital systems and longer screen time. This is the one of the biggest impediments in our positive thinking and enhances mental stress. Without particular focus, even in the subconscious mind, we keep on clicking our mobile phone continuously without any specific requirement. So longer screen time and excessive exposure or engagement in the digital systems is detrimental. So these are all basically technological development. Okay, we must welcome thing, but at the same time, whatever euphoria and the hype associated with the current day's development, that is not desirable. So one has to be very scrupulously select how much time I will spend on the digital platform and in the social media platform. This is perhaps the biggest threat for the current generation. Work-life imbalance. So since the pressure or the demands is keep on increasing and the time demands same the 24 hours. So this work-life imbalance is another factor that adversely affect our mental health. So very judiciously, we have to chalk out our plan for the family, for the self, and for, of course, for the work. At the beginning, I was talking about disruptive technology. So all the developments, the recent times are development that in the AI sector, these are basically disruptive in nature because these are the threat to the job placement, job opportunities. So as this AI and automation is invading our society in every sphere of life, it poses significant threat to our jobs. So people suffer from the insecurity. Tomorrow morning, even those job termination in the current development that the business fraternity has witnessed, the Oracle layoff, TCS layoff. In the fine morning, getting up from the bed, people open up his email, find the termination letter. So that at what point of time it will coming, it is very difficult to predict. So people going to the bed with a fear or with an apprehension that tomorrow morning I might have some news which may jeopardize my career. So job insecurity is another major threat which causes severe mental stress. Emotional intelligence is the ability to manage someone's own emotions and understand the emotions of the people around you. This is one important thing which is also adversely affected by the rise or unscrupulous, I would say, very cautiously, consciously, I am telling that unscrupulous use of social media platform. So as more and more you rely on the automated or the non-living system, that means you are separated from the people. In the current days, you'll find in a coffee shop or in a tea shop, 3 or 4 friends are enjoying tea or coffee or snacks. They are not talking with each other. They are engaged with their individual WhatsApp, the mobile phone. They place the order, rest of the time without gossiping, without interacting, without joking, they are involved in the digital world. So we are not emotionally connected. How you are, what is your plan? Let us go for a cinema or let us go for some your what is called excursion or whatever it may be. So these physical contacts, physical feelings, to understand the emotion of the people around me, that is missing. That keeps on, that deviation keeps on increasing, and that is extremely detrimental. So study the emotion of individuals as well as the people around me, that is also extremely crucial, because without, since I am talking about the teamwork, collaborative, inclusive, so eventually it is with the people, around the people. So if we ignore what is the mental state of affair existing at a particular point of time, with whom I am interacting, with whom I am supposed to discuss, if I cannot study, if I don't feel about his or her emotions, then it is very difficult to work together. So understanding the emotion of individual as well as the people around you is the basically emotional intelligence. What are the 5 key elements? Self-awareness. Always we must have the self introspection. The how I can aware myself about my strength, my weakness, about the opportunity. So self-analysis is extremely crucial towards the success and to regulate the emotion. Self-regulation. Quite often we become impulsive, particularly in the wake of some disruptive events or some unpleasant development take place. We lose our cool, we react vehemently with some impulsion. So those are detrimental. So one should consider or should practice how to regulate his or her emotion and restrict or restrain from taking any impulsive action activities. Motivation. There must be some inner core which should be triggered, which will propel us towards the to undertake the activities which are essential, or which will motivate or propel me to undertake some sorts of positive work, whether it may be teaching learning, whether it may be industrial work or any family related activities. Empathy is similar to the basic definition of the emotional intelligence, to study the mind of the other people. This is quite often is ignored in the current days. So that we have to think about. And the social skill, the same thing. The society we neglect. We focus our attention to the individual. So these are the some sorts of negative consequences of the current technological developments, the AI and the social medias. But we have to rely more on the physical part. Okay, that is what exactly is the social skills. So these 5 different attributes or elements comprehensively define the emotional intelligence. Mental stress, it is the emotional and psychological disturbances resulted from excessive demands or outputs beyond an individual's capacity to deliver. Human being, unlike a machine, our capacity is very difficult to define. What is my exact capacity? It can be stressed just like an elastic material. What I am delivering today, there may be possibility that I can deliver 10% more tomorrow, another 15% more maybe at the end of this month, because it is not just like a material or a non-living system. So people exact in the current days, particularly the workplace, the demand increases rapidly. So when the expectation is high, we have to rise to the occasion. You cannot accuse, because we have to survive in this competitive global world or in the global business. So there is no respite. So now the thing is that how efficiently I can deal with the challenges, or I can satisfy the demands, or I can carry out my work. Otherwise, it will cause mental stresses. Okay, so which will also cause emotional and psychological disturbances. It is usually manifested through perturbation, what I had told earlier. This perturbation is a neurophysiological system. There is some hormonal changes. Anyway, I am not psychiatrist or not for the neuroscience, but there are a lot of hormones which regulate some neuro part that also regulate, and it has got some impact on our different biological parameters which are manifested. Maybe rise in blood pressure, rise in sugar level, your lies in your what is called SpO2, that is oxygen saturation. So different parameters need to be monitored, and it requires some sorts of medication. So we should keep ourselves protected from this perturbation, because this is a counterproductive and it adversely affect our cognitive functions. So it is basically a neurophysical disorder and antidote to constructive work. So this is my selection. What I have found, these 7, there may be something more, but these 7 attributes are extremely crucial to mitigate the stresses resulted from the excessive workload or excessive demand in the workplaces. First and the foremost, or one of the rather most important, is the proactiveness. Practice and imbibe it to anticipate challenges and preparedness with solutions. Why we perturbed? Why we fail to deliver the goods in the right time with required amount of output? Because as I told in some of my earlier slides, that is the limited time, or the time available is rather less. So what is the necessity? to deal with such challenges, that to consider or to anticipate what is going to happen tomorrow or in the coming month or maybe after 6 months. So we have to be well aware of the day-to-day development in the different sectors, maybe in the sociological areas, maybe global politics, maybe local politics or national level politics, your financial sector, most importantly, uh, climatic changes, geopolitical situations. So all these affects the different developments in the business, because business organization is not an isolated entity. Even the academic institution is also not isolated. So that also affect, or that also penetrates into the academic system as well. So what we used to follow maybe 10 years back as a faculty member, and what are the activities or the demands the system call for in the current days, there is a huge differences. So challenges or the expectations are much more. So if we can prepare well in advance that these are the things which is going to happen, which may come not now, but maybe after 3 or 4 months. So let us start preparation from right now. So when the time will arrive, I will be able to deliver that particular output without much trouble, without much pressure, or without increasing the anxiety. Classroom is an opportunity where people can, or the people, I want to mean the student, can flexibly go to the resources. It may be textbook, it may be from the digital resources, it may be your notes, whatever it may be, but those should be consulted before coming to the class as a preliminary. It may so happen that everything is not understood at the first level. Fine. So coming to the class, students should raise lot of questions. These are the things which I am not unable to understand. What would happen if it is something like that? So which, why, how? These are the questions students should raise in the class. And it is the responsibility of the faculty members to address those inquisitiveness. So classroom should be a platform for critical thinking, thought-provoking sessions. So flexible environment. So 24/7. Now coming to the your technology, high-speed internet facilities available, or textbooks may be procured or maybe made available from the library. So students, according to his or her convenience, during any comfortable time, according to his or her pace, they can comfortably go to the subject, so that they can ponder more time critically on the topics, on the subjects. And coming to the class, they can undertake different sorts of discussions where faculty member will play the central or the crucial role. That is the adaptive. And of course, we talk about the mass personalization. So this mass personalization can be effected through the flipped classroom mode, because student, according to his or her choice, her interest, some topic maybe, or the subtopic or some module may be more interesting for one particular group of students, while the other module may be attractive for the other group of students. So a lot of diversifications are there. So let us move according to their own choice, according to their own requirement, according to their own taste, and thereby they can enhance their knowledge and learning. Learning culture. So this is what exactly I was talking about. Learning culture should be different. It is not one-sided lecture. It should be a platform for discussion. So in-depth discussion should be undertaken in the classroom. Intentional content. So while doing so, here the faculty members also has some role to play. Faculty member should create certain learning resources, maybe through the video lecture, maybe through the note, maybe through the PDF, maybe the PPT, whatever, or the your animation, whatever he or she faculty member feel comfortable, or they can assist to procure or access different other resources to guide. These textbooks are very good for this particular topics. You can additionally go for the NPTEL or any other YouTube videos, whatever it may be. So that is what exactly the intentional content. What content faculty member will prescribe, that is extremely important, and that is what exactly is known as intentional content. Correct. And finally, professional educator. In our teaching learning, we take feedback. That is not very uncommon, but those feedbacks are different. Those feedbacks are particularly for in the next setup guidelines. There are 4 or 5 different types of feedback. Feedback on the syllabus by faculty, by students, by industry people, then feedback on the facilities, then feedback on the teaching learning. But this feedback that comes under the professional educator during this particular classroom, whether the duration is 50 minutes or 3 hours lab, whatever it may be, real time monitoring and collection of the feedback. So this that means to ensure or to look into whether students are learning or they are facing any difficulties in the classroom, those feedback. It is not how good you are, it is not that type of feedback. To make the process more effective and value additive. That is the role of the professional educator, and this professional educator is no other than the faculty members. So this flipped classroom I personally follow. I cannot claim that I am very much successful, but for the last 1 or 2 years I have prepared 15-16 video lectures. These are all available on the YouTube. Anupam Desai is well aware of it. He had helped me a lot while video recording. Those are available on the YouTube. I tell the students that come to the class with studying. You can also consult any other textbook, no problem. But rather that should be encouraged. And coming to the class, you solve problem, you ask certain questions, and try to fill the opportunity how I can map these topics into the real life scenarios. So this flipped classroom is an approach or is an efficient approach which is already proven towards active learning. So now judicious segregation. What role or what are the activities faculty will perform and how non-living system, particularly the AI, can assist. So the teacher's role, content development and guidance for selection of the authentic resources. I have categorically mentioned authentic resources, particularly in the digital platform. Lot of materials are there, but majority of those materials should be discarded. But students in their young age won't be able to distinguish which one is authentic, which one is value additive, which one is meritorious. So there lies the responsibility of the faculty member that you search or you consult these are the materials, or they can also provide so that student can follow or go to the authentic or the rich resources. Instill interest among the students. What Einstein told, that is, it is the classroom, what he had attempted to trigger the inner core so that students become curious, they become thought-provoking, so that they can propel their towards the knowledge upgradation or the skill development, whatever it may be. So instill interest among the students. Here, faculty member can play a very important role. Use of analytical techniques, comparison between multiple approaches, data analysis, result interpretation, leading to actionable conclusions for offering sustainable solutions. So in the classroom, a deep or rich mathematical analysis, if it is required, it may not be relevant. So depending on the subject matter, depending on the expertise, the techniques may vary. But these are very common for a scientific subjects. Quite often we encounter there is a possibility that a particular problem can be solved by 2-3 different methods, each one having its own advantage and disadvantages. So comparative analysis is also very important exercise, which can be undertaken in the class. In the current days, AI, Industry 4.0, 5.0, it is all about digitalization. So data is at the core of every activities. So once again, for rich analysis, we have to undertake data analysis. So data analysis can be taken care of or can be carried out. Results interpretation, that is also very important or crucial exercises, leading to actionable conclusions. What we'll do eventually, suppose we get certain result and interpret, then what remedial or the actions one should take to make corrective actions so as to improve the performance of the plant, machinery, whatever it may be, or the process the system, whatever it may be. And then only we can provide the sustainable solutions. Simply doing something, simply applying AI tools, that's all, that is not a very sustainable solution. How that outcome can can benefit the real life activities, particularly the industry requirements. I'll come to the another part. Exploring the application potential of the topics and relevance to industrial scenarios with the focus on human centricity. As I told at the very beginning, that man-machine collaboration is the central theme of Industry 5.0. So human centricity part should be given due importance, and it should be the nucleus of any sorts of academic activities. So exploring the application potential of the topics and relevant to industrial scenarios with a focus on human centricity. Our recommendation should not be, okay, go for IoT, go for AI, go for machine learning, and remove the or eliminate the workforce. That is not a sustainable solution. That is not a human-centric approach. Okay, so try to find out some solutions which will be environmental friendly, which will pave the path for sustainability. And sustainability has got three major dimensions: economic sustainability, social sustainability, and environmental sustainability. These are very efficiently captured or can be described by three E bottom line, three S, three S of the sustainability. Okay, so that is basically an attitude towards a holistic development, whether it is industry, whether it is academics. Consideration of challenges, potential threats, safety, health issues, ethical aspects, and of course, environmental concern. So merely solving one numerical problem is not all about its direct implementation. There are a lot of factors, a lot of challenges. Cost analysis is a very crucial parameter, without which it is very difficult to attract the industry people for implementation, because the fund is not abundant. So within the limited resources, how efficiently we can use or invite or install the new technology. So there is a very common technique, return on investment. If I invest 1 crore of rupees today, what will be return that the industry will enjoy in how much time, and what is the time duration? So what are will be the return on investment? So these sorts of analysis also need to be undertaken. Potential threats, what could be the difficulties, what could be the danger side of that particular technologies or something like that. Safety part, health issues, ethical aspect, and of course the environmental concern. You'll find that these are very efficiently captured in some of our POs of outcome-based education suggested by the NBA. Okay, so it comes in your PO numbers 6 onwards. So those are the things. So the whatever we'll discuss in the classroom, that must have a comprehensive look, and it must have multiple dimensions. Resolving conflict and ambiguity and focus on engagement. So this should be the objective of there, where faculty member can contribute significantly, resolving conflict, and if there is any ambiguity, and how people can be can be made engaged to carry out group tasks or collaborative tasks. One such approach is very popular, that is called collaborative teaching learning or cooperative teaching learning. And finally, monitoring, feedback, and corrective measures in real time. This point number 7 is in alignment with, that is what exactly I had mentioned in the last P, that is the real-time monitoring and feedback. And how we can use automation and ICT in teaching learning. The repetitive tasks, which are boring, which are unproductive, if you collect attendance by sparing 10 minutes of your valuable time, do you add any value? Nothing. So these are required, but it does not contribute towards any positive advancement. So repetitive in nature, every day for every class we ought to take attendance. So these sorts of repetitive tasks, for which AI and the non-living systems are very efficient. So engage AI in some activities which are repetitive in nature, which are monotonous in nature, which are stressful. So attendance collection, feedback analysis, lot of your AI tools are available. Those can be successfully implemented or used for attendance collection and feedback analysis. High speed internet I have already mentioned, because you cannot access the digital resources unless the high speed, and most importantly seamless. During this last 1.5 hour, what we are discussing, 4 or 5 times we had confronted with the technical glitches. So that is the lack of seamless connection. It is very common in country like India. So that must be ensured. Lesson planning and question generation. Lesson planning, question generation, because the prompt engineering is very efficient in question generation, and the lesson plan depending on your course content. So if you, there are a lot of AI driven software, if you upload your course content, the system can generate lesson plan, and of course it can come up with different types of questions. But at the same time, it is imperative that faculty members also go through that. If required, he or she can twist it certain bit so that it can be of valuable or input to the faculty, to the students for the brainstorming. Statistical tools. Lot of statistical tools are available for data and result analysis. That is also very tedious task. So these sorts of activities can be undertaken or can be done successfully by using lot of statistical tools. Simulation monitoring using appropriate software. This simulation monitoring is also a very crucial part of the global decision making. We talk about the decision making eventually. I had started with the decision making at the very beginning. So decision making, what sorts of decision making we undertake in the industrial scenario? Mostly optimization, monitoring, simulation, prediction. These are the high-end activities, and different softwares, lot of powerful softwares are available catered to different domain. Those simulation and monitoring can be very accurately, precisely, and of course in a limited time can be carried out by different software in the non-living system. Emerging AI techniques for complex problem solving. So AI tools can also be successfully considered to give the direction how to undertake, or what are the different parameters or the different attributes that one should consider in towards the complex problem solving. Those who are acquainted with the NBA outcome, program outcome number 3, design for solution. It is a very comprehensive, but it captures a lot of things. Design for solutions. So how you design your solution, that also require a lot of exercise. That means different aspects you have to consider. Your constants, your surroundings, your limitations, your ethical aspect, your health issues, environmental issues, your statutory warnings or statutory bodies requirement, that has to be fulfilled. So considering all aspects within that domain, your problem or the solution must satisfy. So those are the problems which is usually called complex problems, complex engineering problems. And emerging AI techniques can be utilized successfully to develop the PO3, that is the design for solutions. Virtual labs. All facilities cannot be procured or cannot be made available in one particular institutions or the department. So thanks to the connectivity, now it is possible to access state of the virtual labs which are maybe available in some other premier institutions. I can give you one information that last 2 years, IIT Kharagpur has given us the permission in the eastern region. They have considered Haldia Institute of Technology as one of the promising institute who can share their virtual labs which are available at their disposal in the IIT Kharagpur. So these are the very rich resource of the potential platform to undertake experiment simulation. I was talking about the simulation monitoring. So this virtual lab where this simulation and monitoring system can be effectively accomplished. So that will be a very valuable aid to the teaching learning process, particularly for the for imagining for student imagination to capture the essence of industry into the laboratory. Pattern recognition. Again, coming back to the personalized learning, now we can argue that I am going back. Monitoring feedback corrective measure. You can argue that in a classroom, say there are 60 students, how to monitor individual, how to take their feedback and address their issues individually. It is a Herculean task. It is not possible manually. So here you can take the aid of pattern recognition. Lot of softwares are also available which can help identify what is the lacuna of a particular student, what is his or her mental state of affair, what is his learning pace, and accordingly give or guide him with the solutions, with the resources, and with the questionnaire. May not all students may not be equally capable of solving complex problem in the very first attempt. So let us, according to their merit, okay, there is no harm in for the slow learner, but we must create the opportunity or create the ambience so that the slow learner also will be encouraged to learn incrementally, so that eventually he or she can develop sufficient knowledge skill for his or her development. So this pattern recognition is also a very important and very powerful AI tool which can be used in the classroom. Agentic AI does not require any further deliberation because current days almost everyone we are using agentic AI for the content generation. So that agentic AI can be successfully used for the content generation, and of course evaluation. Okay, evaluation softwares are also available. Sometimes we can also do the evaluation by the digital platform. The way we check our answers in our institution may not, I don't know to what extent it is AI driven, but still it is a digital platform where we can comfortably 24/7, according to flexibly, you can carry out your evaluation, even sitting at your home during your leisure time. So here we can take the help of automation, ICT, and AI. So that is how, just once have a look that how we can segregate the work. The high level work where there is a innovation, there is a possibility of creative thinking, there is a possibility of the teamwork, brainstorming. So critical thinking or your thought-provoking exercise should be carried out by the teachers, and a repetitive work should be taken care of by the non-living system. That is what exactly is the man-machine collaboration. Finally, I believe that there are two more slides. So if some emergent approaches, hands-on learning experience. That means we have to engage the student, that you learn by doing, learn by involving, not by attending the classes, not by listening the video lectures. Design thinking and idea generation, that is also coming in a big way. This is another approach to trigger the innovative and critical thinking. Experiential learning, unless and until you do by doing, you learn by doing, it is never possible. Those who drive your what is called your bikes or car, you can just go back when you had learned first time. Someone has told that this is the first gear, this is the second gear, you have to press the clutch, you have to slowly release it and slowly apply your accelerator. But when you had occupy the driver's seat, it was something different. So without that, simply going through the theory, you can never learn. So experiential learning is actual learning towards the accomplishment of the education. Collaborative and cooperative, these are more or less similar. Collaborative, you give a group assignment, identify one complex problem or industrial use case, give them a task so that student can, in a team, maybe 4 or 5 or 6, depending on your teacher or student ratio or your facilities, you can divide and give them to solve collectively. Cooperative, same thing, but faculty member can also take part in the learning process or can contribute towards the solution development. Capstone projects is similar to identify some industrial problems which will have a flavor or essence of all industrial parameters. Okay, so those are the things which may come or may be considered as a capstone projects. And of course, whenever you will solve certain problems, so application of the techniques, particularly the your basic sciences, applications to the physics, chemistry, or mathematical tools and techniques in domain and in relation to real life application, that connectivity should be there. Otherwise, there will be missing link. Students won't be able, they won't neither find much interest in a mathematics or the physics class, nor they will be able to connect and apply. So that part, that connection part is extremely important, and that is successfully can be carried out through the real life problem solving. So last slide perhaps. So how to remain or how to improve our well-being? Some physical activities and meditation. Okay, lot of seminar discussion are going on in the current days. You'll find in the YouTube, even the doctors are significantly taking part in the YouTube, and they recommend for the physical activities and the meditation. Be optimistic and think positive. Hobe na, parbo na, it is difficult, time is not sufficient. So don't think that way. So try to find it out how I can solve a particular problem, even by taking help of your peers. So trade off between physical work and mental work, particularly whenever we continuously work in front of computer or on the mobile phone, it creates anxiety. It affects our biological system. So always it is required that there must be some balance between the mental work and physical work. Take a break, take a pause, have a cup of tea, discuss with your friends or your colleagues, then come back after 15 half an hour, no problem. So that will rejuvenate. You can start with fresh. Judicious utilization of the skin time, which I had already cautioned. Less reliance on the digital platform and selective use of social media. What is my perception or my feelings that this is the most vulnerable area domain which cause lot of negative attribute or which infuses among us, and those are clearly manifested, particularly among the young minds. Communicate and interact with others, whatever may be the mode of communication. But I don't support or I don't recommend much on WhatsApp or email communication. Okay, that is also required, but I want to communicate to mean physical communication that improves our mental health, to vent out our mental agony or anxiety and improve our, I will say that our mental condition, imbibe values and respect others. So these are the some of the tips to remain well-being. So nevertheless, we have to try attempt, particularly for the faculty members. I will try that overnight. It is not possible to migrate from the traditional teaching to a fully your active learning, but slowly you imbibe that. Insist them, tell them that study well or study in advance, come with some lot of questions, and in the coming to the class you open up your mouth. And that is particularly those faculty members or ma'ams who are from the communication department or communication English or linguistic, you feel better than me that this, to remove this barrier is extremely important. So general classroom should be an effective platform to undertake or to carry out some exercise which will based on some sorts of communication, maybe irrelevant communication, but let us discuss, let us open up their mouth. So that is perhaps the most important, the biggest impediment towards the effective communication. And imbibe values and respect others. Finally, the last one, the sustainability at the core or the central, and that sustainability here it is written as a profit, but for growth in generically, whether it is a business organization, whether academic institution, it is for growth, for further development, for the eventually the sustainable or the approach or the solution, whatever technology, whatever philosophy, whatever control approaches, whatever the mechanism, everything should be for people. So people should be at the center, and overall we are not in an isolated domain. we are the part of the planet. So society, environment, resilient, human centricity, and obviously the 3 P's of the sustainability should be considered in our every approach. So that is all about from my side. I don't have much uh, additional material to add on to it. And if you want to communicate, so this is my contact details. Thank you very much for patience hearing. Of course, although there was certain technical disruption, seamless connectivity was not there. Still, I believe that the session was engaging in nature. If you do have any query, you are welcome to open up.
Thank you very much, sir, for such an insightful and thought-provoking session. Your perspectives on human-machine collaboration have given us valuable direction on integrating technology meaningfully into education. Dear participants, you may now post your questions in the chat box. We shall take them up for discussion with Professor Jana.
I have a question, can I?
Yes, yes.
So my name is Moshmi. The question is, sir, it was a very insightful and informative session. Really appreciate the way you have taken it forward. Sir, what are your thoughts about imbibing mentoring and coaching aspects in the institutions, especially the B school or maybe the colleges? So coaching and mentoring for the faculties. What are your thoughts, sir?
Okay, wonderful. So for the faculty members, anyway, you have to any person, particularly an adult or elderly person, the responsible person, should identify or should be able to distinguish between the do's and don'ts. What is positive, what is negative. So they should ponder more time on the positive activities, and without much hype, without much fanfare. Oh, lot of AIs are there. Lot of AIs are there. Agentic AI can do wonder. Let us dive into it, without identifying whether it is really beneficial for me or not. So one has to be very selective. If it is really beneficial, if it can really add values to it, so that should be taken into consideration. And some parameters of the attributes which I had mentioned or included in my PPTs, that is the proactiveness part, perception part, intuition part. These are extremely crucial for the success. If we can anticipate what I am supposed to face tomorrow, then quite a majority of the problems or the mental stresses will be eliminated. Because why we undergo stress? Because whenever we feel or we apprehend that there is a possibility of the failure, or even if I can do it, the output may not be, the quality of output may not be attained. So if I can devote substantial amount of time, if I can do the work precisely, if I can do any particular work with a insightful thinking, then and then only I will be able to do justice to my output. So people should ponder what is the positive side, what is the negative side, how can utilize more time in the value additive activities. Because value additive activities are only counted, other non-productive idle time, these are not counted. These neither not only add values, but these are also counterproductive heavily for the organization as well as for the individual. So those are the things which are mostly instrumental for increasing our mental stress or the mental agony. Because whenever you will do something positive, you will feel a lot of satisfaction. So our attempt should be channelized, or endeavor should be focused towards those activities which will yield some positive result. So that maybe for the publication of the research article, for the new approach to the teaching learning, or your question paper setting, or some real life problem solving, some healthy discussions. And particularly, I don't know whether if you are from the B school, then a lot of possibilities are there. Lot of new things are coming up. in the management of the B sectors, because that is the decision making part, or business is one such part where there is not much threat about from the AI. If the jobs are repetitive, say maybe data analytics, so in that case, AI can do wonder. AI can do much more efficiently, accurately than the human being. But every time we have to always think of something new, something unique. If we can showcase our outcome by innovative decision making, innovative approaches to solving problem or to deal with the situation, those are the golden opportunities or the prolific areas where human potential can be used successfully. So our endeavor, irrespective of the discipline, irrespective of their specialization, should ponder more time on the creativity aspect regarding conceiving any new idea, new approaches, inducting more parameters in the problem so that it can have a robustness in the solutions.
Thank you very much, sir.
Any other question from the participants? Okay, sir, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Which human capabilities should always remain central even when advanced technology is available?
Creativity. That is the critical thinking. And this critical thinking and giving solution, it is basically a collective contribution of different approaches. What I had mentioned, proactiveness, perception, or the awareness, intuition, and this intuitive activities, intuitive decision making is extremely important, because it will give you, because in the majority of the cases we are not supposed to start from scratch. We have to correlate. We've encountered today, but similar problem we had faced earlier, and at that time we had provided certain solutions. That is the recalling and connecting, or I can say mapping the current situation with the earlier one. But 10%, 15%, 20%, some uniqueness will be there in the recent times. So if 70%, 80% are similar, then to getting the solution will be much more easier. So always you have to think about, even very casually, how I can do something more, how I can think differently. This is the new thing which is apparently seems irrelevant, but tomorrow it may be found relevant. So nothing goes to the dustbin. Okay. So that aspect one ought to think about. So brainstorming part is very crucial.
Very crucial.
And of course, the behavioral part that I had also discussed. Awareness. You open up your eye, be vigilant. Not vigilant, I mean, not the perspective of your agencies like CBI or ED. It is not like that. What is going on? What is the developments are taking place in and around you? In the family, in the society, in the road, in the coffee shop, in the restaurant, in the shopping complex, and of course in your classroom or institutions.
Sir, one last question to you.
Sure.
How can machines support educators without reducing their creativity, judgment, and personal connection with students?
If you go through my slide, there are two different slides. One where human critical thinking and innovativeness can be crucial or important, and those work which are repetitive in nature, just or not value additive. In our management science, we think about everything, whether it is value additive or cost additive. Whatever work we do, does it add any value, or does it add any cost, or which is basically burden? So objective should be to eliminate, if not possible to eliminate completely, try to reduce it as far as practicable. Say for instance, taking attendance. It is not that much value additive, but it is required to maintain regularity. So these sorts of activities which does not require critical thinking and yet consume a lot of manual time, and it triggers your unpleasant, I would say, you are not that much, we are not that much interested, motivated to take the attendance. Roll number 1, roll number 2, up to 60. Someone will not respond immediately. After 5 minutes, when his turn is over, ma'am, I forgot to respond. So these are all basically not value additive. These are all basically cost additive. So these are the activities which you can streamline. So for question paper generation, the question paper comprises different varieties in terms of complexity, in terms of length. So these sorts of questions can be generated by a lot of software or the AI tools. But I would suggest that whatever the system create, don't absorb or don't follow or digest without scrutiny. You just go twist it a little bit, so that student can have a better brainstorming session or creativity or more thinking. It shouldn't be very stereotype. What is this definition? What is this law? Give certain twist to that particular question, so that it can trigger some. Maybe there are some issues should be deliberately incorporated, which are controversial in nature, which are paradoxical in nature. So those will create a good platform for discussion, healthy discussion rather.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for delivering such an insightful and engaging thematic session, and for patiently addressing all the questions from our end. We also thank all the participants for their active participation and for their patience and understanding during the brief technical glitch. We truly appreciate your continued presence on the Google Meet. We will now take a short break, and the next session will commence at 3:50 p.m. We look forward to your continued participation. The feedback link of the session will be shared with you over the WhatsApp. Please fill up the feedback form by 2 p.m. Sorry. Thank you once again. Thank you very much, Torun
Okay,
sir.
thank you. Before I leave, so my sincere regards and gratitude to the department, all the faculty members of the SAS, IQAC coordinator, your program chair, Dr. Santanav Giri, and two ma'am as their organizing chairs, namely Meenakshi De ma'am and Jyoti Dole ma'am, Anupam De sir, and all the faculty members, participants, resource person for selecting this but a typical theme which is extremely crucial, not only in the teaching learning, not only for academic organization, it is across sectors in the society. So these are the problems in the society also. We face similar type of communication problem. This mental wellness or the mental stress or mental ill health, behavior changes in the behavioral pattern, which are not very productive in nature, which are not very healthy. Okay, so amicable nature which are missing nowadays. People become arrogant. So how to resolve those conflicts, those adversities? So these are the parameters, or these are the themes or the topics are extremely useful for discussion, for deliberations. And at the beginning of the semester, you have coordinated all the resource person, all the inputs to conduct this 1 week faculty development program to carry forward a collaborative approach towards achieving excellence in the higher education. So thank you very much, and giving me the opportunity to share my sorts of thinking, because I am also engaged in taking my classes. So if you can imbibe, if you can suggest something, so I will also be benefited, because always any discussion creates a platform for two-way communications. It is not that whatever I will say that is 100% correct, or I don't have any possibility to learn from my peers or from my juniors. It is absolutely wrong. So any sorts of discussion, any interaction creates the opportunity for opening up, or for two-way discussion, and for mutual benefits. So thank you very much. Okay, so I believe that
Thank you very much, sir.
Remaining session will be extremely beneficial and interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
So,
sir. It's
okay,
an
thank you.
honor and pleasure to have you with us.
Okay.